Inside your body right now is a biological weapon with an acid strength that matches a scavenging vulture. Think about this shocking number. The acid concentration in a normal human stomach ranges from 1.5 to 2.5, which is strong enough to dissolve solid animal bones and kill dangerous bacteria. This raises a massive mystery about our past. If we are modern, clean creatures who only eat cooked and sterilized food, why did evolution gift us such a terrifying digestive system? The answer lies in a dark secret that spans over 2 million years. Our prehistoric ancestors, who lived through the Ice Age, survived on types of food that would absolutely be illegal to sell anywhere in the world today. Imagine a modern restaurant being immediately shut down and sealed by health inspectors if it dared to serve the diet of early humans. We are talking about chunks of mammoth meat turned deep green, rotting heavily, and crawling with maggots. But for our main character, a prehistoric hunter named Kale, this was not trash. It was a premium feast. Kale did not eat rotten meat because he was on the verge of starvation, or because he had no other choices. Modern archaeological analysis has proven the exact opposite. Kale and his tribe actively chose these decomposing pieces of meat, even when fresh kills with perfectly clean muscle meat were available all around them in the camp. From a modern scientific perspective, this behavior looks like biological suicide. But for humans surviving in the wild tundra, this was the peak of survival intelligence. We need to re-examine the entire history of human nutrition, because what we call hygiene standards today might actually be going completely against our core genetic survival blueprint. In 2017, anthropologist John Speth published a shocking study in the journal Paleoanthropology. He proved that Neanderthals and northern hunter-gatherer groups turned meat decomposition into a masterclass of food preservation. The hunter, Kale, would deliberately bury large portions of seal or caribou meat deep under wet soil or ice blocks. After several weeks, the proteins in the meat began to break down under the action of local lactic acid bacteria. This process created an absolute anaerobic environment, completely blocking the growth of deadly toxins like botulinum bacteria. This is the exact same biological principle modern food scientists use to create premium salami or expensive aged cheese. The only difference is that modern cheese gets a stamp of approval from regulatory agencies, while the meat of Kale would be treated as toxic waste. Looking deeper, fresh meat is tough and takes a lot of energy to chew and digest. When Kale let the meat rot, natural enzymes did the digestive work for him, turning it into a soft texture. This form of food was incredibly easy to absorb and released energy quickly, without needing fire to cook. Look at an incredible paradox in human history during the 20th century. When Western health workers brought modern hygiene methods, including freezers and chemical cleaners, to indigenous Arctic tribes to help them eat much cleaner. Right at that moment, severe food poisoning cases caused by botulinum toxins began to explode in those communities. For tens of thousands of years before that, when they ate fermented meat the traditional way, the rate of this disease was virtually zero. This shows that the ancient preservation system using native bacteria worked far better. Now, let us follow Kale on an intense hunt during the harsh winter of the Ice Age. After taking down an ancient bison with a primitive stone spear, the first task for Kale and his team was not to cut out the lean loin or steak meat like the way we buy plastic-wrapped meat in modern grocery stores today. The items they fought over viciously were the brain, the eyes, the testicles, sections of the large intestine still filled with half-digested food, and the amniotic fluid of pregnant animals. They ate them raw, right on the spot, while the warm blood was steaming in the freezing cold air, or they let them half freeze into ice. For modern people, this scene is truly horrifying and violates every rule of ethics and food safety. Selling fresh animal brains or intestinal contents is completely illegal in developed countries due to the risk of dangerous prions. But for kale, the lean muscle meat we love today was actually the lowest quality part of the animal. Lean meat was just filler to stop hunger, while internal organs were the true nutritional treasure that allowed the human brain to grow exponentially. Look at the actual data. 1 gram of animal liver contains hundreds of times more vitamin A, vitamin B12, and iron than a gram of premium ribeye sold in modern organic shops. The brain of the animal kale ate contained a dense amount of omega-3 fatty acids in the form of DHA, which is the core material building human brain cells. Ironically, modern society throws away the most nutritious parts of an animal to chase tasteless lean meat, and then spends money buying chemical supplement pills. To better understand the wonder of human adaptation, let us look at the modern hunter-gatherers who still preserve the ancient ways of history. A primitive man can climb a massive tree with bare hands, using a stone axe to smash open an angry beehive to harvest honey, eating it raw right on the branch with no filtration. He sits right on the tree and eats massive handfuls of raw honey, beeswax, pollen, and thousands of live bee larvae that are still wiggling. A 12-year study by scientists, published in Evolution and Human Behavior, revealed numbers that seem completely impossible to modern doctors who study human nutrition. Up to 85% of the calories these men consume during foraging trips comes from raw honey and bee larvae, not from animal meat. On average, across the year, honey accounts for 15 to 20% of the total daily calories for the entire population, from old elders to toddlers who just learned to walk. If a modern city person ate a diet filled with so much raw sugar and wax, they would certainly face obesity, heart failure, and type 2 diabetes within a few years. But primitive foragers do not. They have no idea what heart disease means, maintaining a perfect weight and an unchanging walking speed from youth to old age. The secret is that they also consume between 100 and 200 grams of dietary fiber every single day from wild tubers and roots, a massive number compared to the tiny 10 grams of fiber eaten by an average modern city resident. This raw diet creates the richest gut microbiome on Earth. In 2023, a breakthrough study from Stanford University, published in the journal Cell, showed that primitive foragers possess an average of 730 species of beneficial bacteria in their gut. Meanwhile, a modern city person has only about 277 species, meaning we have lost a lot. Over 400 species of precious microorganisms, which once helped our ancestors digest complex organic matter and protected the body from chronic inflammatory diseases, are completely gone. We are running a 2-million-year-old biological software system on modern hardware that is missing its core input materials. To see the power of this evolutionary mechanism clearly, look at the true stories of European explorers when they first stepped foot onto the wild lands of Greenland. They recorded in their diaries their pure horror when witnessing the native Inuit people preparing a traditional Ice Age dish called kiviak. They packed hundreds of small seabirds, leaving the feathers, beaks, and internal organs completely intact, inside a raw sealskin that still kept a thick layer of fat. They sucked out all the air to create a completely airtight environment, then buried it under heavy rocks for 7 long months until it rotted. The seabirds inside completely decomposed under the action of liquefied fat, turning into a paste that gave off an intense ammonia smell so strong that Western explorers vomited continuously standing 10 meters away. But for the Inuit, This was the only way to get enough vitamin C to survive the freezing winter. Another concrete example comes from native hunters in the remote, frozen regions of Siberia, with a dish called iguanak. They buried a whole walrus or caribou in the frozen marshland during spring and only dug it up the following autumn. The meat by then had shifted to a grey, fermented state, soft like aged cheese. If a modern person like us ate even a tiny piece of this iguanak meat, we would immediately suffer from blood poisoning or death, because our immune system does not know how to handle it. But for native children raised on kale's diet from a young age, their bodies developed an incredibly powerful system of antibodies. We have spent less than 120 years establishing modern food hygiene protocols, strict laws, and artificial preservatives. We think we have conquered nature by completely removing bacteria from our daily plates. But we forget that our bodies have evolved over 2 million years to cooperate with nature. Your genetic code knows nothing about the expiration dates printed on supermarket plastic packaging. It does not care about modern sterilization standards. It only remembers the ancient instructions written deep inside the stomach acid of kale, within the gut lining, and inside the natural immune responses. The biggest lesson here is that we need to respect the inherent biological balance of our bodies, reducing our dependence on ultra-processed foods that have been stripped of their nutritional soul. Would you dare to step out of your safety zone to experience raw, natural fermented foods just once? Let us know below.